is a great day. Wonderful day. Awesome stuff happened. I woke up in a great mood and it got better. So, got me to thinking. Today is social media day. This is the day that I sit around and I look at social media and understand. I don't say become consumed with social media, but you do need to pay attention to it. So I'm doing my thing, looking at stuff, and I got into this group and there was this question about, the political ramifications of new laws that may or may not come in terms of retail. And then somehow I got onto minimum wage. And, what did you make? And I forgot all about this. And essentially it's like how I got my first tax job. I was 14 years old. And, it's a really good story. It's really interesting because it really set the stage for a lot of things that came many, many years after. But as a kid, back in the day, BC, before cable, there was a lot of ways for a kid to hustle up some money. You can go around to the elderly people, get the Coke bottles, take them to the grocery store, redeem them for a nickel, dime. Some places you can still do things like that. That was one hustle, but a lot of times, sometimes those old folks, they wouldn't let loose because they were going to redeem them. It was just a money thing. Or, hustling yards. That was something I was really, really good at. Cutting grass, raking leaves. But this particular summer was a little slim. Summer of 1980. Just things weren't working out. School was getting ready to start. I didn't really have any money. I didn't have the things that I wanted. So it's like, I need to find a job. And back in the day, being one of those people, being a bagger at a grocery store, that was big stuff. You were making money, you got to see people, you got to learn things. So I went to the grocery store and they said no. Essentially, I walked, I estimate, between 4 and 6 miles that day, just going to local businesses and saying, hey, do you have any positions? And, they were like, no, no, no. But everybody was kind, everyone was cool, and they were just like, keep trying, keep trying. So I go to this last place, and I walk up there, and it's like a hump from the main drag. So I go in, and there's this lady, the gatekeeper, and I talked to her, and she said, no, sorry, we don't have any positions right now. And it was still hot. This was August. This is before kids went back to school in August. You went to school in September. So it was still kind of blazing hot. She's like, hey, would you like a glass of water? She gave me some nice water. And I was on my way, and I was just walking back. Then this guy in this black Corvette, I'll never forget it. He zooms on by, but while he's zooming on by, he's just staring me down, right? And I'm like, I don't know. And back in the day, people gave folks rides. Hitchhiking was nothing. So maybe he was like, coming back. So about 6 minutes later, it's the dude in the Corvette. He comes back. And he says, I hear you're looking for a job. And I was like, yes, sir, I am. And he said, well, anyone that's out here looking for a job in this Alabama heat has got to be a winner. Well, he actually owned the company that I had just left. So he says, hop in. So I've never ridden in a Corvette. He was like, yeah, I'm riding in the Corvette. So essentially, go back to this company. He asked me a few questions. Then he puts me in kind of like an apprentice thing because the name of the company was Sign Builders. And all these signs you see, like, they would probably do channel letters and things, but any sign that you see that's like on a metal post, like for McDonald's, Burger, they built those signs. They had all the fabrication equipment, like this big molding thing, like they would do the letters and stuff and blocks and make a Burger King sign. So he was doing that stuff, and there was all kinds of things. And long story short is, minimum wage back then was $3.10. I started off at $6.50. And I remember on Saturday mornings, because we worked a lot of Saturdays, the thing is, everybody, they would go to Hardee's, get all these biscuits and stuff. It was just part of the deal, and just, feed everyone. And what I know about business now is he was making a grip. Didn't know it, because I was just freaking impressed to have a job. I was just grateful. I was really, really happy. And I was the youngest person there. I was 14 years old. 14 freaking years old. And it was an awesome experience, and it taught something to me that I didn't figure out for many, many years. Let's go ahead and just break it down. I was tired of being broke, and I said to myself, and I do remember this, I am going to get a job today. That was it. So I went out and I knocked on doors, went and introduced myself, and I went to either 10 or 12 businesses, and the last one, which did not have a job position, dude, and his name is Mr. Carnes, I'm really grateful. He created a position for me. So there's a lesson here, because as I sit back and I'm just like, because when I wrote the story in the forum, I was just like, I forgot all about that. Essentially, you must know what you want to get it. And a lot of people just like, I want this, I want that, and it's not real firm, it's not real clear. It's just out there. But if a little kid in Alabama, understand, times were different. It was, in my opinion, on one side, it was easier for a kid to get a job than it is now. But the flip side is a kid who's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old can actually start a business and make more money, even if you factor in inflation, way more money than I did. There's numerous cases of this online. So, yeah, you can't do what I did, but you can do better and more. So this is the deal. How did you get your first paid job? Was it part-time? Was it in college? Or were you one of those lucky folks who didn't actually have to get the first tax job until after you got out of school? What's your story? How did that work out for you? Because I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. The American dream is not dead. It's not. It's reformatted a little bit, because the American dream used to be get a house, go to college, have 2.2 kids, white picket fence, and a dog named Barf. That's not it. American dream now is freedom. Can you get a little freedom, man? But seriously, what was your first job? What did you do? What was it? Just put in the comments. And if you want more stuff like this, hit up the HMS newsletter. All kinds of cool stuff's coming. And I'll see you in the next video.